This is eCentral. Now, if you're a big time follower of entertainment, then you know that we'll always talk about New Music Friday. But this time around, our next story, actually, our first story for today, but it just seems like it's some next story because, whenever we talk about this guy, it's always something big. So we caption it, New Music Whiz. This is because Grammy-winning artist, of course, singer and performer Ayodeji Balogun, aka Big Wiz, has announced the official release date of his forthcoming album titled More Love, Less Ego. The new album will be out on the 5th of August this year. This project will be his fifth studio album following the 2020 Grammy-nominated Made in Lagos album, which received commercial success, reaching #1 on the Billboard World Album Chart. Also, Starboy Wizkid has given hints that the latest of the list of artists featured on his new project. In a post on his Instagram story, Wizkid said, "Big up Naira, Skep, Ira, Ty, Flame, Buj. See you 5-8." Now, in detail, the artists he's mentioned are Nigerians, Skepta, American rappers, Ty Dolla Sign, Flame, and of course, other artists including Ira Star, Buju, that's Benson. What a collaboration that will definitely be, and we say respect to Wizkid, and we will definitely have fun with this album. We just keep anticipating. Now, still talking about Nigerian singers that are making headlines all around the world. This time around, it is singer-songwriter Ckay, who has been on the wins and topping charts all around the world. Today, he has added another colorful feather to his hat, as his hit single called Emiliana has been declared platinum in France. This announcement was made on his Instagram page on the Instagram page of Snap Music, which is France's official music certification body. Just 2 months ago, the same song also received the Recording Industry Association of America double platinum certificate, which means the artist has sold over 2 million copies in the United States. All these follow the very huge success and global hit and viral song, you would say, called Love Nwantiti, which hit platinum in different countries, including the US, the UK, and France. Emiliana going platinum in France shows that Ckay has now been able to retain that massive international audience and attention following Love Nwantiti. And Ckay, whose real name is Chukwuka Ekwani, achieved wide global success when his single Love Nwantiti became a TikTok hit. The single topped charts in several countries, which exposed him to international audiences and acclaim, which is quite evident in his 19 million monthly listeners on Spotify. With an album on the way, Ckay will have his eyes set on the international market, and he will be hoping to make history. For us, we're going to keep our eyes on him, most definitely. Now, I want to go on a very quick break, and after which, I'll move on to another trending story. Stick around. This is eCentral. Now, you should know that actions have consequences. That's a fact. And when it comes to entertainment business here in Africa, as much as some of our legal frameworks are not, as would say, solid, it's good to see that these issues can be addressed. Now, as you know, whenever we need some legal perspectives to these matters, our go-to guy is Entertainment Lawyer Akinyemi Ayinoluwa. Welcome once again to eCentral.
Hello, good day. Thanks for having me. Always a pleasure to be here on your show. Looking forward to amazing conversation as usual.
Fantastic. Now, today we are talking not music, but we're leaning towards trademark matters. Trademarks. Now, Nigerian comedian Chukwuemeka Emmanuel Ejekwu, popularly known as Mr. Funny or Oga Sabinus, has threatened to sue Friesland Foods Wamco Nigeria PLC and UAC Foods over alleged intellectual property theft. And that's not all. The comedian also plans to sue Friesland Foods for 1 billion naira for using his trademark, Something Huge. He also plans to slam a 100 million naira lawsuit on UAC Foods for the use of his animated image in an advert for the Gala sausage roll.
For the usage of an intellectual property belonging to my client, Chukwuemeka Emmanuel. and we are demanding for 1 billion naira for the trademarked phrase, something huge. And also, Gala sausage roll. You use the image of my client, Mr. Funny Sabinus, the investor's vibes, to drive to your brand without any form of payment or documentation, at least to show that we're in business. You never approached us. You never approached me. I am demanding for the sum of 100 million naira to be paid for the usage of the image of Mr. Funny. Yes. I have sent letters through my lawyers.
Now, a lot of questions are rising. Akinyemi, is Sabinus well within his rights here? I mean, let's start with something huge.
Yeah, so I can't really give a definite answer to that, but from my understanding and where I stand as a lawyer who understands trademarks and the legal concept of intellectual property, I believe he is well within his right to make these claims. But again, we have to also acknowledge that whenever you make a claim, you have to be able to back up your claim with sufficient evidence to buttress your claim and your arguments. So if you're making a claim of this nature, you must understand the legal concepts in which you're trying to seek, whether justice or damages from the courts to make pronouncement on. And then you must be able to provide sufficient evidence and meet up with all the conditions necessary for you to be able to succeed in making such a claim. So I believe if I were his lawyer as well, I would, put my house in order, make the claim, and make sure that I have sufficient evidence to support my claims. So I think I don't want to say he's well within his right. I think the courts will decide. But anybody can make claims, but the work is cut out for you whenever you make a claim that you must provide a strong argument and then sufficient evidence to back up your claim.
Well, they also posted a trademark number on Twitter. So what's the take on that?
Okay, so I'm aware because of the information available to the public that an application has been filed at the registry to protect the mark. And at the time of this recording or this broadcast, what we know is that there is an acknowledgement from the registry that an application has been filed under a particular class. However, we must also bear in mind that the registry has not issued a certificate to say, yes, your application has been granted and we endorse it, that your phrase or your logo or your mark has been conferred a certification from this registry. So it's a tricky question because for you to properly pursue a claim of infringement of a trademark, you need to attach a certificate evidencing the fact that you own the trademark. Although a lot of people would argue that he has already taken steps and the registry has acknowledged that an application has been filed. But as it is, I believe a certificate is a precondition to properly seek, to properly make a claim in courts and to be able to get maximum benefits or justice. You must tender that certificate to show that, yes, the registry is aware of the application and that there is no contending application. And you are now at liberty to use that mark in connection to your work in the marketplace. Maybe you're selling a product or a service.
Okay.
So that is what I believe is the position.
All right. So a lot of questions were raised about his claim with the USC Food as regards using or wanting to use his own image. I mean, and him too suing. What do you think about that?
Okay. Yeah, so some people would ordinarily, all the fans of Mr. Funny or Sabinus, we know that picture. If you follow him regularly, you know that he's a comic who has many, many expressions. As the manager said, that posture of him standing like this, he calls it the investor's vibe. I believe that has been, I believe an application to protect that has already been filed. And now I can make the argument that anybody who is a Nigerian who consumes Nigerian entertainment must have seen that
The image?
that posture,
Yes.
that image, which can be attached to the artistry or the brand or the persona of the comedian. And again, I want to draw reference to, in some other climes where people, by virtue of slogans, phrases, and even particular image constructs, are able to, get the protection of the courts anytime these types of matters arise. But a lot of people would also fault that the class under which the registration was submitted doesn't cover, the class of entertainment, services, and even advertising. A lot of people would argue that it would have been a different case if that mark was registered under a class that covers advertising or entertainment. Because clearly, what UAC and Friesland, what they are trying to do is to leverage the goodwill that Mr. Funny has built to also advertise their products. And we all can acknowledge that, yes, this man has been building this goodwill for a long, long time.
No.
And if anybody wants to profit off the goodwill he has built, some kind of licensing should have been done.
Akinyemi.
Or it should have been, his permission should have been sought before they use his image and the phrase.
So for clarity's sake, talking about class and categories, what kind of stuff, what category of stuff can one trademark?
Okay, so let me explain the idea of trademarks for people who are not lawyers, who do not understand it. So when you mention some big brands, I don't want to mention any big brand, but when you mention some brands, your mind just goes to quality. Let me mention some brands so that people understand it. When you mention Nike or when you mention Apple, those are trademarks of big companies who own products. And over the years, they are known for building products that are excellent. And now, by the strength of their reputation, a lot of people seek out their products. Now, in this instance, Mr. Funny is an entertainment icon. He's a cultural icon. I can call him a cultural icon. And his stock in trade is comedy, is an entertaining people. And he has a huge following. And now, by virtue of his standing, he's able to influence a lot of people. And when people like himself, when they build phrases or when they build a persona or reputation, what they do is that they put themselves in a position where they're able to go into relationships with big companies so that they can have brand endorsements and sponsorship deals. And on the strength of that, they can use their leverage, their audience that they've gathered over the years, their goodwill that they've built as an exchange. And now when cases demands for licensing those trademarks, the go-to people will be the owners of the mark, the talent manager or Mr. Sabinus himself. And now we have to pay attention. When you own a mark, when you own a trademark, it is customary that you register that mark or that phrase or that logo under a particular class that you are relevant in. So if you are in a fashion business, you want to register under a class that covers fashion. If you're in the pharmaceutical business, you want to register under a class that covers the production of drugs. If you're in the food business, you want to register under a class that covers food. Because if you have a particular phrase or logo, it is very, very likely that that name might mean different things to different classes of products and services. So maybe your name is God is Good.
Yeah.
In Nigeria, there's a transport company called God is Good. And maybe in sports, God is Good might mean something else.
Now, Akinyemi,
There
sorry
might
to
be a
cut you
football
short right
club
here.
called God is Good. Okay.
Now, there are guidelines. I mean, I'm sure there are guidelines that, that guide that one should follow while trademarking all this. Now, you're explaining a whole lot. But I see people on my timeline, on different timelines, saying that something huge is different from something huge. What's the similarity? What's the difference? I mean, can one be sued for, I mean, it sounds alike, but in actual spelling, they're totally different.
Yeah, I believe it is different. And I believe that phrase has been popularized by Mr. Funny, aka Sabinus. And anybody who wants to use that phrase ordinarily is supposed to get permission from Mr. Sabinus. Now, if anybody is acting as though Mr. Sabinus has endorsed that product, there's what we call passing off. Now, if you're acting as though you want to cause people to believe, maybe by your device or maybe some kind of machinations, you are trying to make people believe that this comedian has endorsed our product.
So you're saying that
he hasn't.
So you're saying that the sound also matters, something huge.
No, the spelling is different.
Good.
The spelling is different. And in the way it was used, everybody that consumes Nigerian entertainment can easily reference the comedian.
Okay. Now, I know that.
So whether it is different or not, the huge, as it is being pronounced, as it is being spelled, is exactly how Sabinus has been using it.
Akinyemi, this is quite tricky because a friend of mine says he wants to go patent or copyright or trademark. I mean, come on, I'm a layman, so just pardon me. That he wants to trademark the word one more. And I'm wondering, come on, man, you can't do that because, everybody uses that word one. But anyway, thank you so much for your time right here on the show.
Thank you for the opportunity. And I'm happy that we have opportunities like this to, shed some light on how important, intellectual property assets can be to comedians, to entertainers, to owners of brands, and then to the Nigerian entertainment industry at large. Thank you for the opportunity. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much. And to you who's watching, stick around. We got more stories coming through on eCentral. And moving on with other stories around the world, Indians are paying tribute to popular singer Krishna Kumar Kanath, popularly known as Ckay, who died unexpectedly yesterday night, hours after performing at a concert. The 53-year-old collapsed at a hotel in Kolkata city and was rushed to a hospital where he was pronounced dead by doctors. The cause of his death is yet to be confirmed. And fans and colleagues have paid tributes to the late singer on social media, including Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, who tweeted, saddened by the untimely demise of noted singer Krishna Kumar Kanath, popularly known as Ckay. His songs reflected a wide range of emotions that struck a chord with people of all age groups. We will always remember him through his songs. Condolences to his family and fans. Shanti. Kkay's death comes days after the murder of Punjabi rapper Sidhu Moosewala. Ckay was born in Delhi in 1968 and began his career singing advertising jingles. He delivered more than 3,500 of them before getting his big breakthrough in film music. He sang hundreds of songs over his career, which began in the 1990s. Ckay was regarded as one of the best and most versatile singers in the Indian music industry and recorded songs in several languages, including Hindi, Tamil, Telugu. But it was his work in the Hindi music industry that made him the voice of a generation. We say rest in peace to him. And then our next story, we're still talking about the ongoing trial between Johnny Depp and his ex-wife Amber Heard. We never get tired of this, right? Well, the last news on it was that the 7-panel jury began their deliberations on Friday to give their verdict. They continued yesterday at 9 p.m. when they asked a question on how to interpret the headline from Heard's 2018 Washington Post story, which Johnny Depp's $50 million defamation suit is based on. The headline for the piece reads, "I spoke up against sexual violence and faced our culture's wrath. That has to change." Heard did not name Depp in the article or even the headline. The question reads, does question number 3, the statement is false, pertain to the headline, "I spoke up against sexual violence and faced our culture's wrath," or does it pertain to the content, everything written in the op-ed? Judge Penny Ascarat answered. She said she first began by looking at the records of the trial, and then she said that the jurors' confusion came because the statement they are referring to is the title of the publication. So she believes they are confused and not sure if they have to look at it as the title of the publication or as Amber Heard's statement. After 9 hours of deliberation with the attorneys, the judge and the attorneys concluded that the statement is not the headline and not the entire op-ed. The question is one of the 3 questions the jury must answer. And this case continues right now, and we will definitely follow the whole defamation lawsuit between Johnny Depp and, of course, his ex, Amber Heard. Thank you so much for being a part of the show. It's been E Central with me, JJ Raymond. Have yourself a very beautiful day.